My family made me promise to care for Grandma full-time. Then they wrote me out of the will and split everything between themselves. 5 years of 24/7 care, then they changed the will the week before she died and kept everything. My name is Nicole Martinez. I'm 35 years old. For 5 years, I was my grandmother's full-time caregiver. 24 hours a day. 7 days a week. No breaks. No help. No life outside of caring for her. I quit my career. Gave up my independence. Moved into her house. Sacrificed everything. Because my family promised me I'd be taken care of when the time came. Grandma's house is worth $800,000. Her savings are substantial. You're doing all the work. Of course you'll be compensated. We promise. I believed them. 1 week before my grandmother died, they changed the will. Split everything 3 ways. Between my 3 siblings. I got nothing. 5 years of sacrifice. 5 years of promises. 5 years of trust. Erased with 1 signature. At the funeral, my sister Karen hugged me. Thank you for being so helpful. Helpful. Like I was a nurse they'd hired. Not family who'd given up everything. This is the story of what happens when you trust family promises and discover they were always planning to betray you. My grandmother Dorothy was amazing. Strong, independent, sharp as a tack. She raised 4 kids on her own after my grandfather died young. Worked 2 jobs. Put them all through college. My mom was her youngest. Died when I was 12. Cancer. Grandma stepped up. Helped raise me and my siblings when Dad couldn't handle it alone. She was tough but loving. Had a thick Brooklyn accent even after 50 years in Oregon. Made the best lasagna. Told stories about growing up during the Depression. When I was growing up, we were close. I'd spend weekends at her house. She'd teach me to cook. Tell me about her life. We'd watch old movies together. My siblings, Karen, Robert, and Michelle, were older. Already out of the house when Mom died. They visited Grandma on holidays. Were polite but distant. I was the one who stayed close. Called her every week. Visited regularly. Actually had a relationship with her. Grandma lived alone in the house she'd owned for 40 years. Beautiful craftsman in Southeast Portland. Paid off. Worth a fortune now. She was independent. Active. Volunteered at the library. Had a social life. Didn't need help. Then, 5 years ago, she had a stroke. She was 78. I got the call from the hospital. Your grandmother had a stroke. You're listed as her emergency contact. You should come. I drove straight there. Found her in the ER. Partially paralyzed on her left side. Confused. Scared. The doctor was blunt. She'll need extensive rehabilitation. She won't be able to live alone. Someone will need to provide full-time care. Full-time care. I called my siblings. We all met at the hospital. Karen was 40. Married. 2 kids. High-powered marketing executive. Lived in Lake Oswego in a house with a mortgage that terrified her. Robert was 38. Divorced. 1 kid. Software engineer. Worked 80-hour weeks. Could barely manage his own life. Michelle was 33. Engaged. No kids yet. Accountant. Planning an expensive wedding. Stressed about money. And me. 30. Single. No kids. Freelance graphic designer. Worked from home. We stood in the hospital hallway, discussing options. She can't go home alone, Karen said. The doctor was clear. What about a nursing home? Robert suggested. Do you know what those cost? Michelle said. 80,000 a year. Maybe more. Her savings won't last long. What about home care? I asked. Also expensive, Karen said. And she'd still need someone there all the time. To manage everything. We all looked at each other. No one wanted to say it. Finally, Karen spoke. Nicole. You work from home. You're single. No kids. You have flexibility. You want me to move in with Grandma? Just temporarily. Until she recovers. Or until we figure out a long-term solution. I have a career. Clients. Deadlines. But you can work from anywhere, right? Robert said. You just need a laptop. It's not that simple. Nicole, please. Michelle's voice was pleading. We all have obligations. Jobs we can't leave. Kids. Mortgages. You're the only one who can do this. I looked at Grandma through the window. Small. Fragile. Scared. She'd helped raise me when Mom died. Been there for me my whole life. How could I say no? For how long? They exchanged glances. 6 months? Karen said. Maybe a year? Until she's stable. And then? We'll figure it out. Together. I should have gotten it in writing. Should have asked more questions. Should have protected myself. But they were family. I trusted them. Okay. I'll do it. The relief on their faces was immediate. Thank you, Karen said. You have no idea how much this means. Grandma loves you. You're the right person for this. And Nicole? Robert leaned in. We know this is a huge sacrifice. We won't forget it. Michelle nodded. Grandma's house is paid off. Worth at least 800,000 in this market. And she has savings. A decent amount. When the time comes, you'll be taken care of. We all agree on that. When the time comes. Meaning when Grandma died. They were promising me a bigger share of the inheritance. Compensation for caregiving. I didn't ask for it. Didn't want to think about Grandma dying. But they brought it up. Made the promise. I'm not doing this for money, I said. We know, Karen said. But it's only fair. You're doing all the work. You should be compensated. I moved into Grandma's house 2 weeks later. She came home from the hospital partially paralyzed. Needed help with everything. Bathing. Dressing. Using the bathroom. Eating. The first few weeks were hell. I'd never been a caregiver. Had no training. No experience. I had to learn everything. How to help her transfer from bed to wheelchair. How to prevent bed sores. How to manage medications. She was on 8 different medications. Different times. Different dosages. I created spreadsheets. Set alarms. Couldn't afford to miss one. Physical therapy 3 times a week. I drove her. Helped with exercises at home. Encouraged her when she wanted to give up. She was depressed. Angry at her body for betraying her. Frustrated by her dependence. I'm a burden, she'd say. You're not. I'm here because I want to be. You gave up your life for me. Temporarily. You'll get better. But she didn't get better. Not really. She regained some function. Could feed herself eventually. Could stand with a walker for short periods. But she never recovered enough to live alone. Never regained her independence. 6 months passed. Then a year. My siblings visited once a month. Maybe. They'd show up on a Sunday. Bring flowers. Stay for an hour. Take photos with Grandma. Post them on Facebook. Visiting our amazing grandma. So grateful for family. Then they'd leave. Back to their lives. Karen would pull me aside. How is she really? Struggling. The physical therapy is hard. She's depressed. You're doing such a good job. We're so grateful. Then she'd leave. And I'd be alone again. With the 24/7 responsibility. My freelance career suffered. Clients needed reliability. Consistent deadlines. But I couldn't be reliable. Not when Grandma had a crisis. Not when she fell. Not when she had a bad night and I got no sleep. I lost clients. One by one. We need someone more available. We're going with another designer. My income dropped. Severely. I was living in Grandma's house rent-free. But I had expenses. My own bills. Student loans. Car payment. My savings drained. I mentioned it to my siblings during one of their monthly visits. I'm struggling financially. I've lost most of my clients. I can't work consistently while caring for Grandma full-time. Can't you just do work at night? After she's asleep? Robert asked. She doesn't sleep well. She wakes up multiple times. I'm exhausted. What about hiring help? Michelle suggested. Someone to give you breaks? That costs money. Money I don't have. They exchanged looks. We can't help financially right now, Karen said. We all have our own expenses. But Nicole, remember, when the time comes, you'll be taken care of. This is temporary. And you'll be compensated. The promise. Again. I held on to that. Believed it. Year 2 was harder than year 1. Grandma's health plateaued. She wasn't getting better. But she wasn't getting worse either. This was the new normal. Indefinite caregiving. I had no social life. No dating. No friends. How could I? I couldn't leave Grandma alone for more than a few hours. I couldn't go out in the evenings. She needed help getting ready for bed. I couldn't take a vacation. Who would care for her? My life was her life. Entirely. Wake up at 6. Help her out of bed. Help her use the bathroom. Help her dress. Make breakfast. Manage medications. Physical therapy exercises. Housework. Meal prep. More medications. Lunch. More therapy. Errands if possible, but only if I could bring her, which was exhausting. Dinner. Evening medications. Help her bathe. Help her into bed. Clean up. Prepare for tomorrow. Collapse into bed. Wake up when she called in the night. Help her to the bathroom. Again. And again. Every day. 4 years. My siblings visited less frequently. Every other month. Then every 3 months. Always with apologies. Work is crazy. The kids are so busy. Wedding planning is consuming my life. But they'd remind me, you're amazing for doing this. We couldn't do it. You're a saint. And always, you'll be taken care of. We promise. Year 3, Grandma had another small stroke. I found her one morning. Couldn't wake her up properly. Called 911. Rode in the ambulance. The ER doctor explained it was a minor stroke. A TIA, they called it. Transient ischemic attack. Nothing as severe as the first. But it set her back. More paralysis. More dependence. Now she couldn't feed herself again. Had to relearn everything we'd worked on for 2 years. Needed more help transferring. The physical therapist adjusted our routine. More exercises. More repetition. It's like starting over, the therapist said. But she can regain function. It'll just take time. Time. The one thing I had infinite amounts of. The one thing I'd given up everything else for. The level of care increased dramatically. My burden increased with it. I was 33. Should have been in my prime. Building a career. Maybe starting a family. My college roommate got engaged that year. Sent me an invitation. I couldn't go. Couldn't leave grandma. Another friend had her first baby. Asked me to visit. I couldn't. No one to watch grandma. My life was shrinking. Condensing. Until it was just this house. This room. This routine. Instead of career milestones and life achievements, I was changing adult diapers. Cleaning up after bathroom accidents. Managing endless doctor appointments. The neurologist. The cardiologist. The primary care physician. The physical therapist. The occupational therapist. I kept a calendar. Color-coded. Just to track all the appointments. Coordinating transportation for a partially paralyzed elderly woman. Getting her in and out of the car. Into the wheelchair. Into the office. Every appointment was an ordeal. Hours of my day. Every single week. I loved grandma. I did this out of love. But I was drowning. Some nights I'd lie in bed, the small guest room that had become my bedroom, and cry. Quietly. So grandma wouldn't hear. Cry from exhaustion. From loneliness. From the weight of it all. I'd think about my old life. My freedom. My independence. Going to coffee shops to work. Meeting friends for happy hour. Dating. Traveling. All gone. Replaced with medication schedules and doctor appointments and endless, relentless caregiving. But in the morning, I'd get up. Start again. Because what choice did I have? I'd made a commitment. My family was counting on me. Grandma needed me. And I had those promises. The inheritance. The compensation. The future reward for present sacrifice. I called Karen. I need help. Real help. I can't do this alone anymore. What do you need? Time off. Breaks. Can you take her for a weekend? Or can we hire someone? Split the cost? Nicole, we've been over this. We don't have the money for caregivers. And I can't take her. My house isn't set up for her needs. The stairs alone. Then what do I do? You keep going. Because you're the only one who can. And because you're amazing at it. And because you'll be compensated. Nicole, grandma's house is worth even more now. Over 800,000. Her savings have grown. You will be taken care of. I held on to that promise like a lifeline. Year 4, I turned 34. No birthday celebration. Grandma wasn't feeling well. My siblings sent cards. Happy birthday. You're the best. No visits. No calls. Just cards. I spent my birthday changing sheets after grandma had an accident. Making soup she could swallow. Giving medications. This was my life. I'd accepted it. Committed to it. Believed it was temporary. That the sacrifice would be worth it. Year 5 started like the others. Grandma was stable. Her health wasn't great but wasn't declining rapidly. I'd found a routine. Had a few online clients I could manage. Made just enough to cover my personal expenses. Lived in Grandma's house. Ate her food. Used her utilities. I owned almost nothing. My savings were gone. My retirement fund depleted. My career destroyed. But I had my family's promises. And my relationship with Grandma. We watched Jeopardy every night. She'd guess answers. Get frustrated when she couldn't remember. I used to know this, she'd say. It's okay, Grandma. You're doing great. She'd hold my hand. You're a good girl, Nicole. I don't know what I'd do without you. Those moments made it worth it. The love. The connection. Then, 9 months ago, Grandma's health started declining. Not suddenly. Gradually. She was 83 now. 5 years since the stroke. She slept more. Ate less. Lost weight. Got weaker. I called my siblings. You should visit more. I think she's declining. They came. More frequently now. Karen every few weeks. Robert monthly. Michelle when she could. But their visits changed. They were overly sweet to Grandma. Bringing her favorite foods. Spending hours talking to her privately. Karen took her to update legal documents. Just power of attorney stuff, she told me. Making sure everything's in order. Robert had long conversations with Grandma about finances. Making sure she's comfortable. That she has what she needs. Michelle brought lawyers to the house. Just updating the will. Making sure it's current. I didn't think much of it. Grandma was declining. Of course they'd update legal matters. But something felt off. They were secretive. Excluded me from conversations. Can we have some privacy with Grandma? Karen would say. Family business. I was family. But apparently not the right kind. 6 months ago, Grandma's decline accelerated. She was bedridden most days now. Barely eating. Sleeping 20 hours a day. The doctor was gentle but honest. She's entering end of life. Could be weeks. Could be months. But not years. I called my siblings immediately. They all came. Stayed for a few days. Then went back to their lives. Leaving me alone. Again. With the 24/7 end-of-life care. It was the hardest period yet. Emotionally devastating. Physically exhausting. Watching someone you love fade away is brutal. 3 months ago, I was going through some papers. Looking for Grandma's insurance information. She needed a procedure. Minor. But insurance needed to pre-approve it. I was looking for her policy documents. In the file cabinet in her office. The one I'd been using for 5 years to manage all her affairs. That's when I found it. A document. Recent. Dated from 2 months prior. Last will and testament of Dorothy Martinez. I knew I shouldn't read it. It wasn't mine to read. It was private. But something made me open it. Some instinct. Some warning bell. I sat at Grandma's desk. The same desk where I'd managed 5 years of her life. Paid her bills. Organized her medical records. Coordinated her care. And I read. The house, valued at $850,000, to be split equally among Karen Martinez Johnson, Robert Martinez, and Michelle Martinez. I read that line 3 times. My name wasn't there. The savings, approximately $400,000, to be split equally among Karen Martinez Johnson, Robert Martinez, and Michelle Martinez. Again. 3 names. Not mine. Personal effects to be divided as the 3 beneficiaries see fit. 3 beneficiaries. 3. I kept reading. Scanning. Looking for my name. It appeared once. At the very bottom. Nicole Martinez is to receive a one-time payment of $5,000 in gratitude for her caregiving. $5,000. I stared at those words until they blurred. $5,000. For 5 years of my life. For sacrificing my career. My savings. My independence. My entire existence. $5,000. While my siblings, who visited once a month, brought flowers, took photos for social media, then disappeared, split $1.25 million 3 ways. I did the math. Right there at that desk. $1,250,000 divided by 3. $416,666 each. For them. For the siblings who did nothing. $5,000 for me. For the one who did everything. My hands were shaking. I couldn't breathe properly. This had to be a mistake. An old will. A draft. I checked the date again. 2 months ago. Recent. I checked the signature. Dorothy Martinez. Grandma's shaky handwriting. But definitely hers. I checked the witness signatures. A lawyer I didn't recognize. 2 other witnesses. It was real. Legal. Official. They'd changed it. All of them. Cut me out. Kept everything for themselves. And the timing. 2 months ago. Right when Grandma started declining seriously. When it became clear the end was near. They'd waited. Planned. Executed it perfectly. I sat there for over an hour. Just staring at that document. 5 years of my life. Reduced to $5,000. All those promises. You'll be taken care of. We won't forget this. You're doing all the work, you'll be compensated. Lies. All lies. Or maybe not lies at the time. Maybe they meant it. Initially. But when it came down to it. When the money became real. When they had to actually give up their share. They changed their minds. Changed the will. Erased me. And I had nothing in writing. No proof. No protection. Just 5 years of my life. Gone. For $5,000. I confronted Karen first. She was visiting that week. I found the new will. Her face went pale. Nicole. You changed it. All of you. Removed me from the inheritance. We updated it to be fair. Fair? I'd been caring for Grandma for 5 years. You promised I'd be compensated. You are. You're getting $5,000. That's generous for caregiving. Generous? I gave up my career. My life. 5 years. Based on your promises. We never put anything in writing. Because you're family. I trusted you. Nicole, we did what Grandma wanted. She wanted to be fair. Equal shares for her grandchildren. Well, equal shares for those who were actually her children's children. You, Robert, Michelle, and me. Then why am I only getting $5,000? Because you were living in her house. Rent-free. For 5 years. That's worth at least $2,000 a month. That's $120,000 in rent you didn't pay. So really, you're getting more than us. The logic was insane. I was living here because I was caring for her full time. That's not the same as free rent. You also weren't paying for food. Utilities. You were living off Grandma's resources. While working for free. 24/7. For 5 years. No one forced you to do that. You volunteered. Because you promised. All of you. You said I'd be taken care of. And you are. $5,000. Plus 5 years of free living expenses. You've been compensated. I was shaking. Furious. Devastated. Robert and Michelle agreed to this? Yes. We all discussed it. It's what's fair. When did you change it? She hesitated. 2 months ago. When Grandma started declining. When you knew the end was near. You waited until she was vulnerable and confused and you convinced her to change it. We didn't convince her of anything. We explained that equal inheritance is traditional. She agreed. She's 83 with dementia. She barely knows what day it is. Her lawyer confirmed she was of sound mind. Your lawyer. The one you brought to the house. Nicole, I'm sorry you're upset. But this is done. The will is legal. Final. You need to accept it. Get out. What? Get out of this house. Now. Nicole, Grandma is dying. I'm here to see her. You're here to make sure she doesn't change the will back. Get out. She left. I called Robert. Same conversation. Same justifications. We thought you'd understand. You're being unreasonable. I called Michelle. She at least sounded apologetic. Nicole, I'm sorry. I know this isn't what we originally discussed. But Karen made good points. About the rent. The living expenses. And Grandma really did want things equal. Did she? Or did you convince her when she was dying and confused? That's not fair. What's not fair is promising someone compensation for 5 years of caregiving and then changing the deal at the last minute. I'm sorry you feel that way. They all came to the same conclusion. The will was legal. Done. I needed to accept it. 3 weeks ago, Grandma died. Peacefully. In her sleep. I was beside her bed. Holding her hand. After 5 years of care, I was there at the end. She squeezed my hand weakly. Looked at me with cloudy eyes. You're a good girl, Nicole, she whispered. Those were her last words. She died 20 minutes later. I called my siblings. They all came. We planned the funeral together. Barely speaking. The service was beautiful. Lots of people. Grandma had been loved. My siblings gave eulogies. Talking about what an amazing woman she was. How much she meant to them. Karen cried. Talked about childhood memories. How Grandma shaped who she became. Robert told funny stories. Made everyone laugh. Michelle read a poem. I didn't speak. Couldn't. Too angry. Too hurt. After the service, people came up to me. You're Nicole? The one who cared for her? Yes. She talked about you constantly. Said you were an angel. That she couldn't have survived without you. Thank you. She loved you so much. Loved me. But left me $5,000 while my siblings got over $400,000 each. At the reception, Karen approached me. Nicole. Thank you. For everything. For caring for Grandma. For being there. You were so helpful. Helpful. We're planning to list the house next month, she continued. The market's good. We should get asking price. Maybe more. Great. We'll need you to move out before then. So we can stage it. Is 2 weeks enough time? 2 weeks to move out of the house I'd lived in for 5 years. Fine. And there's the matter of your payment. 5,000. We can write you a check today. She pulled out a checkbook. Wrote a check. $5,000. Handed it to me. 5 years. Reduced to a check. I took it. Said nothing. Nicole, I hope we can move past this. We're still family. I looked at her. At Robert. At Michelle. Standing together. United. Family. No, I said quietly. We're not. I walked away. Haven't spoken to any of them since. They texted. Called. Left voicemails. Nicole, we need to talk about moving your things. Nicole, please be reasonable. We need to sell the house. Nicole, you're being childish. This is business. Not personal. I moved out within the week. Took what little I owned. Left everything else. They sold the house 6 weeks ago. For $875,000. Split 3 ways. $291,666 each. They each walked away with over $425,000. House plus savings. I got $5,000. For 5 years of my life. I'm 35 now. Starting over from nothing. No career. No savings. No home. No family. The reality of my situation hits me every single day. I'm living in a small studio apartment in a rough part of Portland. 400 square feet. The bathroom is so small I can barely turn around. It's all I can afford on my retail salary. I'm working at a Target. Stocking shelves. Running registers. Making $16 an hour. At 35 years old. With a college degree. With skills and experience from my previous career. But 5 years out of the industry? Might as well be 50. I tried applying for graphic design jobs. Remote work. Anything. We see you haven't worked in the field since 2019. Can you explain the gap? I was a full-time caregiver for my grandmother. Oh. That's admirable. But we're looking for someone with recent experience. Every interview. Same story. Same rejection. The industry moved on without me. Software changed. Techniques evolved. I'm obsolete. So I work retail. And I'm grateful for it. Because at least it's income. At least I can pay rent. Buy food. Keep the lights on. My savings? Gone. Depleted during those 5 years. Living expenses the family now claims were compensation. My retirement? Cashed out. Penalties paid. Used to survive when freelance work dried up. My credit? Destroyed. Missed payments during the caregiving years. Collections. Damage that'll take years to repair. I'm starting from less than zero. While my siblings bought new cars. Took vacations. Paid off mortgages. Karen posted photos from Hawaii last month. A family vacation. 2 weeks. Luxury resort. Paid for with blood money. With the inheritance she stole from me. Robert bought a new BMW. Posted about it on Facebook. Treating myself. With money he got for visiting grandma once a month. Michelle had her dream wedding. $50,000. Destination wedding in Mexico. Funded by betrayal. And I'm stocking shelves at Target. The injustice of it makes me physically ill sometimes. I'll be at work. Restocking toilet paper. And I'll think about it. About them. About how they're living their best lives on money that should have been shared. About how they used me. Exploited me. Threw me away. And I'll have to go to the bathroom. Splash water on my face. Breathe. Remind myself to keep going. My therapist, thank God for sliding scale fees, says I need to process the grief. You lost your grandmother. But you also lost your family. Your siblings. Your trust. Your 5 years. Your financial security. That's multiple losses. You need to grieve all of them. I'm trying. Some days are better than others. Some days I wake up and I'm okay. I go to work. Come home. Make dinner. Watch TV. Sleep. Other days I wake up and I'm furious. At them. At myself. At the unfairness. Those days are harder. I'm learning to trust again. Slowly. Made a friend at work. Sarah. She's 27. Doesn't know my story. We get coffee sometimes. Talk about normal things. TV shows. Dating. Work gossip. It's nice to have normal interactions with someone who doesn't pity me. I'm dating a little. Trying to. It's hard. Met a guy on a dating app. We went out twice. Things were going well. Then he asked what I did before retail. I told him. The whole story. Everything. He never called again. I don't blame him. Who wants to date someone with that much baggage? That much damage? So now I keep it vague. I took time off to care for family. Now I'm rebuilding. Let them think what they want. Maybe someday I'll meet someone I can trust with the full truth. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll stay single. Stay guarded. Stay protected. Because trusting people got me here. Broke. Alone. Starting over at 35. I'm going back to school. Online classes. Digital marketing certificate. It's something. A way to update my skills. Make myself employable again. I do homework after my shifts. Late at night in my tiny studio. Sometimes I think about where I'd be if I hadn't done this. If I'd said no 5 years ago. I'd probably be senior designer somewhere. Making good money. Living in a nice apartment. Maybe engaged. Maybe thinking about buying a house. Instead, I'm taking entry-level online courses. Trying to claw my way back to employability. The opportunity cost is staggering. 5 years of career advancement. 5 years of salary. 5 years of retirement contributions. 5 years of life. Gone. For $5,000 and a betrayal. People ask if I regret it. Caring for grandma. I don't regret caring for her. I loved her. She deserved dignity in her final years. But I regret trusting my siblings. I regret believing their promises. I regret not getting it in writing. I regret sacrificing my entire life based on family promises that meant nothing. My therapist says I was financially abused. That they exploited me. Used me for free labor while planning to cut me out. She's probably right. But knowing that doesn't change my reality. I'm broke. Career destroyed. Starting over. Alone. Because I trusted family. A friend suggested I sue. Contest the will. I looked into it. Talked to a lawyer. Do you have anything in writing? Any documentation of promises? No. Just verbal promises. Was your grandmother competent when she changed the will? She had dementia. But their lawyer signed off that she was sound. Then you have no case. I'm sorry. No case. No recourse. No justice. Just the knowledge that I was used and betrayed by the people I trusted most. I saw Karen recently. At a coffee shop. She was with her kids. Looked happy. Successful. She saw me. Looked uncomfortable. I turned and left before she could speak. What would she say? Sorry we screwed you over, but thanks for the free caregiving? I'm rebuilding my life now. Slowly. Going back to school. Learning new skills. Digital marketing. Trying to salvage some kind of career. Dating a little. Trying to trust people. It's hard. Making new friends. Ones who don't know my story. Who don't pity me. Creating a life that's mine. Not built on promises that evaporate. But I'm angry. Still. Maybe always will be. Because I did everything right. I showed up. I sacrificed. I cared. And I was betrayed. Not by strangers. By family. The people who promised to take care of me took everything and left me with nothing. $5,000. For 5 years of my life. While they split over $1 million for visiting once a month. That's the math of betrayal. Have you ever sacrificed years of your life based on family promises? Have you ever been written out of a will after being the primary caregiver? Have you ever been told you'd be compensated and then given scraps while others got everything? Share your experience in the comments. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who betray you worst. If you believe that you can't promise someone compensation for caregiving, then change the will and keep everything. Hit that like button and subscribe. Because exploiting free labor from family while planning to cut them out isn't just wrong, it's cruel. And calling someone helpful while stealing their inheritance is adding insult to injury. # wrote her out of the will.